Welcome back to my Corvette journey. This is a continuation of the removal of my 4L60E transmission from my 1995 Corvette. Anytime you're doing maintenance or repairs, you want to make sure you have the right tools. In this case, for removing the transmission, the bell housing bolts are all 14 millimeter. The pan are 14 millimeters, so I have an assortment of 14 millimeter sockets, some swivels, long extensions, some medium extensions for 3/8 drive. As you can see, the shift linkage has a bracket that's tied to the bottom of the oil pan of the transmission, and it has a little clip that pops off there. Another thing you need to look for is up here. I think you can see it, a whole bunch of grounds tied to the transmission bell housing. So you have to be real careful taking those off not to mess up a ground. We'll start off with the converter bolts, and we're going to put a wrench on a wrench to get us a little extra leverage. Got a screwdriver in here to try to hold it off, and I already got that one kind of loose already. There's one. There should be 3 of them, obviously. Let's see if we can get this thing to spin around. Oh, yep, we have a spacer. We'll catch that in a minute. All right. Here comes another one. All right. So we're gonna go. All right, there we go. That one broke loose. Some washers in there to kind of shim the converter back a little. Sometimes you don't want it sticking out too far. You want good engagement into the pump on the transmission. All right, here we go. One more. We'll switch hands. Oh, there's such tight quarters under here. Really takes a lot of the fun out of this. Oh. All right, there we go. Jeez. All right. So this is the last converter bolt that we have to deal with. And again, I did my engine a couple of years ago, almost 2 years ago. So I'm the one that tightened all this up last time. Torque converter, people probably don't know that, but you can space in or out, so we tried to space it back a little bit to get a little bit more engagement. So now the torque converter is free. All right, next up is the electrical connector and the transmission lines. There's the electrical connector, and then over here you've got the lines going to the transmission cooler. And then we've got some extra stuff up here. We got a battery cable, got a couple other parts that we have to get out of the way, but we're getting closer. Oh, there it was. That came off pretty easy. So the connector's off. looks like it moved. That's good. And as usual with the Corvette, not a heck of a lot of room to do anything. You sure don't want to round them off. That's a bad day. Alright, well, we're going to move over here to start taking the linkage off. The first thing we'll do is pull this little pin out, which we will take out with our finger. There we go. That's the shift linkage. We'll put the clip back on it so we don't lose it. There we go. The clip's on. Take a 14mm. It's really not in the way. And unhook the speed sensor. Oh, good. Nothing like a 30-year-old car. All the plastic parts are so brittle. There we go. All right, and there's a clip up here. Okay, that's great. Get that off. Well, it looks like that's just a clip, so we should be able to. Here we go. All right, that's good. So that's free. Let's see if I'm getting a long extension. Give us some leverage here. The one with all the grounds on it. Super important not to mess up any of those wires. And what you can't see, I don't think, is there's a bolt right there, and it's right in front of the floor pan of the car. And what I'm going to try to do is drop the transmission a little bit. I'll see if it'll come down a little bit with the, maybe that'll give me some more room. We'll see. Let's see what happens if we try to drop this down a little. See if it'll come down. Oh yeah, there we go. Didn't come down a whole lot, but just a little bit. Need to do a swivel socket up there. I think that's how we did it originally. Oh, hey, yeah, look at that. This is a lot better than it was when I took the engine out because I didn't have the brace out and I couldn't drop the transmission down. So this is a much better outcome. I have to use a deep socket on that one because it's got a stud on it. I'm going to have to use a swivel. The long extension is really almost mandatory for this. Alright, let's see what kind of luck we have with this one. Oh yeah. Alright, at this point I'm going to try to get this strap around the transmission just for a little bit of safety. I think I got it strapped on there, so that's good. It seems to be a kind of a win-win. Let's get our long extension again. Let's see what we got to work with over here. A lot less room. There's a bracket on that one. We'll aim to get up in there. There's a bolt way up at the top there. I got to get that. Then two down on this side. Let's see how far we can reach with our little handy dandy. Alright. Part of the fun is getting the remember all the fun of this, getting the engine out. Alright, well, we got to reach up in here. See what we got to get out of the way. A little bit of engine harness here. It's on a clip. Finally, jeez. The transmission does have dowels on it, so it lines it up when it touches the engine. So we're on the dowels still. If I get lucky, I can leave that bolt in here with all the grounds tied together. So you're trying to track them back down. That would be the goal. Alright, well, God bless America. Transmission is free. Flare nut wrench, which is really awesome to have. I just get it in a spot where I can do something with it. I really can't up there. Oh boy, this is great. Even the flare nut wrench didn't do it. The dreaded vice grip. I don't like using it, but we're gonna try it anyway. Alright, well, I hate to use them, it got it loose. We got her. Alright. The flare nut wrench should work. I think we got it. Oh yeah. Now we should be able to roll her back. I should be able to drop it all the way back down, get those wires out of the way. Alright, well, here comes the exciting part. That was a hang. Alright. I gotta get this off the jack because it's clearly too tall to make it. One thing you need to know, if you're wrestling your transmission around, it's got a lot of sharp edges. You want to wear heavy-duty gloves when you're reaching in and trying to pull the transmission, because I'm going to have to take the transmission off of the jack, put it on some cardboard, and slide it out from under the car. It's not going to roll out on the jack. I don't have enough room. Oh, before I do anything with this transmission, as far as trying to get it off the jacks, is I'm going to zip tie across the front of it to try to keep it from sliding out. Man, that hurt. Oop. It's not perfect, but it should keep it from flopping out of there, hopefully. Now comes the fun part. Try to figure out how to get this thing off of the jack. I just don't see any way to get this car up that high. Roll this over. Well, that went a lot quicker than I thought it would. But the transmission is out and on the floor, ready to be taken to the shop.